like the content we bring you about the heavy metal world, please like, subscribe, and comment to help us grow the channel. So, for those who haven't heard yet of Lords of Black somehow, can you give us a little bit of history on the band?
Well, we are almost 10 years old already. We have, this is going to be our 6th album, Mechanics of Predacity. And we started back in 2014. Ronnie Romero and I founded the band. And in the beginning, it was like, because we kind of grew up with the same influences and same love for bands like Rainbow, Dio, Black Sabbath, Dio era, and all those classic records. Also, we love Queen and What Is Nay, Journey, classic bands, not only metal, but good musicians and good songs. And Ronnie and I founded the band with the spirit of continuing the legacy or carry the flag with pride of those bands. Mm-hmm. Because nowadays the modern metal is not very melodic at all. It's not based really on a great singer and a great guitarist like the oldest kind of way. It's more about modern sounds and aggressiveness and not very melodic singers, I guess, not many solos. So we are very old school kind of metal, but with a modern approach, because I like to say that we are a cross between those bands like Black Sabbath or Dio, but with a modern sound approach and a little bit of prog metal here and there, but not too proggy. So I guess we are a metal band with roots in the classic bands. And yep.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed for a long time, going all the way back to 2000, in the United States, when all the bands were getting away from having a melodic singer and getting rid of lead guitar, it was not that way in Europe.
Yeah, but even it was way before. It was when Nirvana and those guys started in 91 and stuff like that. And I remember because I was a kid and I was very disappointed. All of a sudden, you turn on MTV and there was no more Steve Vai or Yngwie Malmsteen on the TV. It was all about Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. And those were great bands. But the copycats of those bands were not that great.
Right.
And even got even worse and worse and worse through the 90s. But for some reason here in Europe and in Japan, classic metal still survived. Grunge or new metal were never big here. So somehow metal or classic metal survived. But in the process, as you said, it's true. The tradition of having a good singer and a good guitar player as a must in a metal band somehow disappeared. So it was all about maybe the aggression or the whole theme, but not too much about the singer or the guitar player like it used to be in the 70s and 80s. So yeah. I miss that because the bands I used to love were primarily based on a guitar hero with a super singer like Aerosmith or Van Halen or Led Zeppelin or Dio with whoever the guitarist would be, or Ozzy Osbourne, whoever the guitarist would be. Those were great teams, and it was magical.
Yeah, I can only agree with you on that. So I was going to say, on it's your 6th album for Lords of Black coming out next month, Mechanics of Predacity. Did I say that right?
And, I guess.
Yeah, what I've heard so far is really fantastic. And can you talk a little bit about how the new album came together?
Well, it's again we are very traditional in the sense that we like to put an album that even is not a conceptual album as such, but it has this feeling and this theme throughout that you can feel is like a traditional album that you would love to enjoy from top to bottom, from beginning to end. And so we are definitely not a band for playlist on streaming or whatever, because we like to plan and build up an album as a whole, as an unit. Mechanism of Predacity is a very strong and powerful and catching title, in my opinion, that it goes about this never-ending theme of conflict, that because of the human nature, we are always in the verge of war and predating all over the place. So it's a topic that really I like a lot, because I like history and philosophy, and it's something that I always go deeper and deeper, trying to discover or trying to find answers to many questions about why humans can be so good and so kind and so capable of love and good things, and also we can be monsters and we can be predators. So, and nowadays, in these current times with wars, pandemics, crisis on food, on money, crisis on here and there, like we've been scared and bullied 24/7. So it's kind of like if the world gone mad and it's Predacity all over the place.
Yeah, it's getting really bad with Ukraine and all the other things happening in the Middle East. So I can only agree with you on that as well. Can you talk a little bit about your songwriting process? And I know you're the producer and you have been for the Lords of Black. A little bit about your process?
Yeah, in the beginning, it was a much more collaborative theme, because maybe I wrote the bulk of the whole album, but not the whole album. But as things progressed with the second and third and fourth album, it seems like I was always giving more and more input and coming up with much more ideas. I guess also the rest of the guys were also busy on some other projects, while Lords of Black is, for me, my baby, and I'm always busy on this. So at the end, it became much more my creature, and also they trust in me on the songwriting and stuff. So this album I started just 1 year ago, January last year, and I started to write, doing some demos and presenting the songs to the guys. Then we entered the studio, and we finally I flew to Romania, where Ronnie lives at the moment, to record his vocals, because that's when magic happens, when Ronnie and I are together in the studio, together in the same room, and we go back and forth with every single detail on the songs and the dynamics of the lyrics. And he's so good on delivering the best performance possible for those lyrics that I really would like to say that are meaningful and powerful, and not the typical cliche lyrics. So it's important that you have such a strong vocalist like Ronnie to translate what I'm trying to talk about.
Yeah, has it been difficult at times to get together with Ronnie, considering he's in so many projects? I mean, Elegant Weapons, Michael Schenker Group, all these different bands that he's also kind of doing at the same time.
Yeah, in the beginning it was great, because we were just putting this theme from scratch, and we were getting very popular really fast. But as soon as he got the Richie Blackmore's Rainbow gig, everything got a little bit difficult and complicated, because schedules and priorities and stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes can be a double sword having a singer this famous. in the band, but it's one of the best.
Yeah, well, wouldn't you say though, it also was kind of helped because it pushed Ronnie into the spotlight, and then more people are like, "Hey, what else does he do? Oh, he's in Lords of Black."
Right. Yeah. At least in the beginning, it was like that. It was really cool because all of a sudden we had much more attention onto us because of that. But after that, it got a little bit much more complicated because it was not only the rainbow thing. A lot of things started to come his way. So it's what it is.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to say, and I love your shirt, by the way. I love King Diamond. One of my favorite bands, Andy LaRocque. So. Oh, yeah. But I love your guitar sound. Can you talk a little bit about your rig live and in the studio?
Yeah, in the studio, I have dozens of guitars. All of them are Ibanez. I'm Ibanez artist for many, many years. And here in my studio, I have several bulbs, amplifiers, very traditional, like the Bogner Ecstasy or the PV5150 or my beloved ADI MP1. So very, very traditional stuff, very old, but really cool. My eyes and fingers are very used to that, and is the sound I'm looking for. But live is a different situation, and some of this stuff is very anything can happen with bulbs and this kind of equipment. So I go live with this new Kemper thing that is a profiler, that is this thing that clones amplifiers. So you go in a digital world that is much more reasonable for touring with no problem. So it's the best of both worlds. Best of analog and old school gear in the studio, but best of modern and easy things to work on a live situation.
Yeah, I've seen guitar players use a pedal called Head Rush. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I think it's exactly like what you're talking about. It emulates some really great amplifiers and does a good job. And I've seen guitar players where they can just take that pedal and maybe a couple cabinets, and then it's going through the PA anyway with a direct out.
Yeah, it's convenience because with all this madness that going, especially for gigs that you fly in and out, it's not possible to trial with this equipment. It's very delicate and very expensive to move because it's really heavy weight. Right. So it's much more convenient. Just grab your guitar, maybe a bunch of pedals, or maybe a preamp like that one you mentioned, or the Kemper. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just put it in your backpack when you go on the plane, and there you go, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. So one question I always like to ask is, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you, touring or on stage? Anything crazy or weird?
Not really. And I've been everywhere and having, I guess, all the mistakes and all the accidents you can imagine, like falling off the stage and stuff like that.
Right.
You just fall on your ass and you just have a laugh and that's it. But nothing extreme, I guess. No, nothing extreme. But all those kind of experiences for sure. Yeah.
Great, no problem. I really like the music videos that you guys put out for the first 3 songs. Do you want to talk a little bit about those?
Actually, 2. 2
singles. There are 2 so far?
Yeah. Nest is coming up. Actually, the day of the album release on March 15th, the 3rd video and single for the song Let the Nightmare Come. But for now, the opening track of the album, For What Is Owed to Us, has been the first video and single. And we just released last week the second single for the song I Want the Darkness to Stop. That is a much more different song from the first one. The first one is a great opening track because it's a full-on metal song, straight to the point with some lyrics about getting even or it's like we have enough, and this is a call to arms, and we are gonna get even. But the second single, I Want the Darkness to Stop, is a much more personal song, almost a power ballad in a few sections of the songs, but also the song got a bit proggy in the middle section, and it's a very dramatic song and really beautiful melodies and a very meaningful and touchful lyrics about someone that can't stand or can't bear anymore the pain or the sadness he's suffering. So
yeah, that's the one that starts out with "You on Classical."
Right.
Yeah, great video. I just watched it this morning. Really great. I wanted to say too, man, Joe's a fantastic drummer.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Is a powerhouse. Is really a strong drummer, very technical, but he really uplifts the songs because he's very powerful, and I'm really happy to have him in the band. And he's a very cool guy, very easygoing. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, he does these really technical, kind of soft double stroke rolls on the hi-hats and things, and then he just goes into full blast,
Yeah, he can do anything. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I was going to ask, what formats will the new album be coming out? Are you guys doing any vinyl box sets, any special editions, anything like that?
I believe so. Obviously, it's going to be CD and streaming, and I hate that, but it's a CD.
It's the business these days, right?
Yeah, well, not really cool for a band like us, and especially for an album like this that is not conceptual, but as I told you, it's intended to be an unit, a whole, like a book or a movie. So this is not a series of 2 or 3 chapters. It's one thing.
Complete.
I believe it's gonna be released on double vinyl. So it's cool because also I like to make good artworks with cover artworks. So the best way to enjoy that is with the classic. Like you see in my background, you see this kind of cover artwork is intended to be enjoyed on a vinyl format. So
yeah, it looks so much bigger on a record when you have that big.
Yeah, when I was a kid and I used to go to the record store and get the new Iron Maiden record or the new Metallica record, you want to see a cover that grabs your attention, and you can't wait to get home and put the record on the turntable and get crazy for an hour with that.
Yeah, sometimes we'd go into the record store and we'd find an album and we had no idea what they were or what they sounded like, but we see this awesome album cover and we go, well, I'm going to try that.
Yeah,
and most of the time it worked out pretty good.
Oh yeah. I only remember doing that one time because normally I knew where I was going to spend the money way before. But
before you went into the store, right?
Oh yeah. But I remember one album that was really, really surprised because I didn't know the band at all. Even the band was already classic, but I was very young, and I didn't know that this band had a strong past. But for some reason, they started new with this new style, and the album cover was amazing. I didn't know anything about them. That band was Riot.
Oh, yeah.
They released Thunder Steel in 1988. I didn't know anything about them before. They were a very different band. And all of a sudden, this album with this great cover is full-on metal, speed metal, kind of Judas Priest, a new singer, this great new drummer by the name Bobby Jarzonbeck. But that's the only album I remember not knowing anything about those guys and buying just because of the cover. That was beautiful, and the album is great. Even today, it's one of the greatest albums of any US metal band.
Yeah, I just got to talk to the bass player a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
those guys are fantastic, and their new album is really, really great too. So, I'm glad that they're still putting it out. They're more a power metal band now, but I love power metal, so I don't have a problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, they were really cool because really Thunder Steel and The Privilege of Power were my favorite Riot albums because they were speed metal and power metal, but also a little bit proggy. Mm-hmm. They were really amazingly technically, and I learned a lot of the guitar with those albums. And yeah, they have changed the name after Mark Riel passed away, right?
Yeah. Now they're Riot 5.
Oh, right, correct.
So, what are the plans for Lords of Black for 2024? Is there going to be any tours coming up, and is there any time you guys are planning to come to the U.S. so I could see you?
Oh yeah, that would be great. Hopefully, yeah, that's definitely my goal to try to put the band on tour again, especially supporting this album that is so strong. I believe might be our best album to date, and really want to reconnect with our fan base because we haven't played for a while with the pandemic and the problems of all kind, logistics, personal stuff. Schedules making impossible because Ronnie was a whole year busy with Michael Schenker, for example. So I like to put the band on tour this time, and we love to play United States again. We only played in Atlanta's Prog Power Festival, but it was such a great experience that we really want to go back to US for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Is there anything, Tony, that we missed? Anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or
no, enjoy the album. I think there is something for everyone because you have a strong, full-on metal songs like For What Is Owed to Us, the opening track, or the closing track of the album Born Out of Time. But also you have deeper tracks like Awards That's Departed, that is 11 minutes long and is a journey on itself, and also a few of left field songs like Can We Be Heroes Again, that some people have pointed me that sounds a little bit Queen, so that's cool because Queen is the best band of all time, so that's I don't have any problem with that. It's beautiful and we love Queen, and yeah, I think there is something for everyone.
Yeah, I loved the early Queen. For me, was my favorite stuff when they were really heavy band.
True, but
the later crazy little thing called Love type of stuff, not so much for me. But
then you have Innuendo. The last album is a heavy rocker.
Yeah.
So of course you have those albums in the 80s more poppy.
Yeah.
But they are cool, and at least that band could make any style
right.
credible. So that's why they were the best, because they could be playing rock or glam or heavy metal or country or pop.
Yeah, quite a span if you go from Tie Your Mother Down to, Another One Rides the Bus or stop.
Oh, yeah.
Another One Bites the Dust. Sorry about that. But I just want to thank you again, Tony. And again, I love the album, and I agree. I think it's probably the strongest album. Very heavy, and musically, it did remind me. Once I saw your shirt, it reminded me very much of kind of that technical heavy metal that the King Diamond band plays. And how there's always melody, but then it's just rip and tear. And a great combination of both. But March 15th, is that correct?
That's correct.
Oh, awesome. And that's on Frontiers SLR Records. And again, Mechanics of Predacity. And everybody should pick it up. And I think it's best always with the streaming these days, if you really love a band, pick up a physical copy of it. You know what I mean? Own a CD, own vinyl, get a trophy, because that goes directly back to the band.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, hey, everybody really needs to do that. And again, just thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to more stuff from Lords of Black.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. Very nice talking to you.
Yeah, you have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
If you like the content we bring you about the heavy metal world, please like, subscribe, and comment to help us grow the channel.